हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका टफ स्टोरी पॉडकास्ट में। एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म जहां हम मिलते हैं इंस्पायरिंग लीडर्स और प्रोफेशनल से जो अपनी जर्नी, चैलेंजेस और लर्निंग्स शेयर करते हैं। आज के एपिसोड में हमारे साथ है मिस्टर A.S.N मूर्ति, एक विजनरी लीडर जिन्होंने रेलवे, इंजीनियरिंग और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में अपनी एक पहचान बनाई है। उनका कैरियर सिग्नल और टेलीकम्युनिकेशन से लेकर टॉप कॉर्पोरेट लीडरशिप तक रहा है, जहां उन्होंने ऑपरेशंस और सेफ्टी में एक्सीलेंस ड्राइव किया है। आज के एपिसोड की खास बात यह है कि हमारे गेस्ट मिस्टर मूर्ति के बेटे मेरे को-होस्ट भी है, जो है वेणु अन्नमराजू, जो हमारे इन डिस्कशंस को और भी प्रोफेशनल, पर्सनल और एंगेजिंग भी बना देते हैं।
Very oldest school is there in Bhimavaram. It is called United Lutheran Church Mission School, where my father studied.
Oh, is it?
100 years back. West Godavari, Bhimavaram college, WGB, but they used to call Wonderful Girls and Boys School.
Wonderful boy.
Tata has 55 locomotives and 350 kilometers of track.
When you're retired, how quickly were you able to adopt into the world of AI? People are hating talking about AI.
So this is the first book in English.
So before I talk about this first book, is this your first book?
Yeah, this book is the teachings and the life history, spiritual history of their spiritual leader, Sant Sevalal Maharaj.
So what do you achieve out of all of this?
Great satisfaction.
Before I ask the next question, what is your age right now?
True age? 79 completed, 80 ended.
ये एपिसोड काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है, तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का टफ स्टोरी। वेलकम टू द पॉडकास्ट अंकल। हाउ आर यू डूइंग?
Thanks a lot, Amit. It's a great privilege for me to be with you today.
It's our privilege that you are with us and you're going to share us your experiences. So how are you doing?
Quite nice. Just to start with my life, I was born in Bhimavaram in West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh.
I have seen movies around Bhimavaram.
Yeah, it's a very
Bhimavaram Bullod.
I don't know
कुछ तो movie था.
I mean, my connection with Bhimavaram and West Godavari is about action movies. Like Rayalaseema, is it nearby somewhere?
Yeah, it is. And you'll find entire thing green. Full
lot of greenery.
And rice fields.
Okay.
It's very fertile area.
So you were a son to a farmer?
But no, my father was a teacher.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a teacher, and we were all educated in a nearby village called Palakodero.
Okay.
And it's a very good village. In 60 years back or 50 years back, that village was so much advanced. We had 3 schools, 1 cooperative bank which gives fertilizers, 1 veterinary clinic, 1 ordinary clinic,
Okay.
and 1 midwife exclusively to see the pregnant ladies. And back, it was a very advanced village. And 60 years back,
What is the
profiling
village name? It's Bhimavaram only?
It is by the side of Bhimavaram, Palakodero.
Palakodi.
Hardly it has some 2,000 population.
Oh.
But very rich village and well-educated people.
They were able to sustain all these things for just small 2,000 population.
Yeah, are well-educated in this. They are very fond of education. That particular village. Mostly there are 2 or 3 nuclear engineers, IAS professors. Lot of people have come from that village.
So, as Venu was asking, was it because everything was fertile? Everyone was rich?
Could be one reason, yes. It could be one reason. And another reason could be, you'll find in Hyderabad, Dr. A.S. Nagar.
Yes.
So, Dr. A.S. is from that place.
Oh.
Maybe he also could be. And another scientist, Ella Pragada Subbarao, who is the inventor of terramycin, is also from Bhimavaram. Maybe all these things would inspire the people to study these things.
So did you do your schooling in a private school or a government school?
It's a government school. It's a government school.
Those days there was no concept of private school?
There are no concepts. And Pakka government country school. But that school has a reputation because of the village. So good, they used to post good teachers. And people used to come state first and all these things from that school.
So your father was also a teacher in the same school?
Yeah, he was also the same teacher. He was teaching me, in fact, up to my 7th class perhaps.
Wow.
At that time we used to call as a second form. We used to have first form, second. First form means 6th class.
Oh, is it?
Second form, third form, 4th, 5th, 6th, SSLC.
Okay.
Secondary school leaving certificate is called SLC. It is
Okay.
11th.
Acha.
11
So there was no college culture that time. It was
College is in Bhimvaram.
that is after 12th.
Yeah.
After 12th.
Were there any convent schools at that time?
Yeah,
Anywhere?
there was. In Bhimvaram there were, not in my village, but Bhimvaram there were, because
Okay.
some Italian missionary was there.
Okay.
So, and very oldest school is there in Bhimvaram. It is called United Lutheran Church Mission School, where my father studied
Oh, is it?
100 years back.
Wow.
It's a big ground and all these things.
So so people normally say the South India is quite literate and everything.
Yeah.
So this is a living example that 100 years back also, your family is one such family where I can see that your father was a teacher. You have been practically teaching to everyone. Your son, your kids, everyone, grandsons, everyone is educated. So clearly showing that the South Indian literacy factor is actually happening.
Good way.
And your brother's education?
And we are 4 brothers, and I'm the second. The first was a nuclear engineer.
Wow.
And he was nuclear power engineer. He worked in many reputed countries for the Canadian Atomic Energy.
Okay.
I'm the second.
And he did his MTech in...
He's MTech in IIT, and he was a professor in IIT Madras. And from there he migrated to Canada.
Canada.
And I'm the second, railway signal engineer. The third is civil engineer in Goa, government of Goa.
Okay.
And the fourth is in USA. He does some medical business. So that's our...
So after your schooling, did you go out of Bhimavaram for your college or upper education?
Yeah, I went. So after Bhimavaram, I did my pre-university course in Bhimavaram College.
Okay.
It is called West Godavari Bhimavaram College, WGB, but WGB College, but they used to call Wonderful Girls and Boys School.
Wonderful boys.
WGB, West Godavari Bhimavaram.
Wonderful Girls and Boys College. Interesting. So that's when everyone were meeting each other. So it was fun days.
From there I went to the Guntur. Guntur, I studied in Guntur. My diploma in electrical engineering.
So how far is Bhimavaram and Guntur?
More than 150 kilometers.
Okay. So you moved there or you
moved
were...
there.
And
I was in the hostel and studying there.
okay.
From there, I got a job in railways. At the time, we have a good choice, because if you pass in first class, you can almost choose the jobs. So whatever job we apply, I used to get it. Almost I got some 12 jobs.
Wow.
Some other, I chose railway job. For whatever be the reason. Some fascination also is there. Some flair. So I was in the Bombay suburban services. It's a very tough railway system. Almost I was running around 800 trains per day.
Wow.
In the suburban system. It's a very, very tough thing.
So that was your first job after your college?
Yeah, that's the first job.
So you completed your engineering or what?
No, I did a diploma.
Diploma.
That's Polytechnic?
No, Polytechnic.
Is it called Polytechnic?
And I was doing AMI.
What is AMI?
Associate member of Institution of Engineers.
That's like a
Like
PG
B,
course?
like B.
Okay, like B.
You
Okay.
can do privately.
Okay.
So after that you got your first job in railways.
Railways.
So was it through an exam or something, or you, as you said?
Exam. It was an exam, it was competitive exam.
Okay.
So morning was, they called us for written test. Some 10 people passed.
Okay.
Remaining is article to go away to home. And remaining they interviewed. By the time, actually, in fact, I was first selected as a Government of India apprentice in thermal power station, the Ramagundam.
Okay.
So the government gives the money, the government gives the stipend like thing for industrial exposure. So only merit students only.
Oh, like
select.
internship?
Huh?
Is it like an internship?
I could call it internship. It's called an apprenticeship scheme of Government of India. And
Oh, that is the way you get absorbed into the...
till we get absorbed, they'll do the... Not till we, 1 year they'll do it. It helps us to gain the employment. And it's under Ministry of Education directly. And we have not applied it. They themselves picked up and then gave it. So I was an apprentice in a thermal power station.
Oh, so that was before railways.
Before the railways.
So how long was that for?
I was almost for 6 months.
Okay.
6 months. It's a very, very nice thing. It's a thermal power plant. And
Where is it exactly located?
but
Where was the work exactly? Which city?
Ramagundam.
Okay.
Karimnagar.
Karimnagar side.
Ramagundam. There is a super power thermal station there.
Okay.
At that time, this was very small, 36 megawatt power plant.
Mm-hmm.
So
And now?
36.
Now?
Now the all power plants are in the order of 3600.
Oh,
100 times bigger. It is.
okay.
So, do you remember your first salary?
Yeah, my first was the stipend from the government of India. So it was 100 rupees. 100 rupees they used to give, and the local people used to respect us a lot because they're all state government employees.
Your
And
central
we
government.
are from the government of India. Our designation is government of India training.
Okay.
So they used to give a lot of respect. We used to have access everywhere in the power plant.
That's
Control room, everywhere, boilers, wherever we go, we have a free hand.
100 rupees, which is a proud thing according.
Yeah, it's a good thing. We used to spend only 40 rupees. And
So
And you
compute the inflation adjusted number for now. 100 rupees, which
it
year?
was 1964,
64.
4. Wow, we are talking about 60 years.
60 years back.
Exactly.
60 years.
Yes.
So imagine every
60
7
times.
years.
I think you can simply multiply with 60 to 70 times.
No, so the equation is like 7 years, money doubles, etc.
That's the post office.
So
scheme.
9 times. So 2 to the power 9. So that is 500 times. 500 into 100. 50,000 rupees is your adjusted stipend for now.
Which is very high. And that too, it's coming from central government.
Central government. No.
It's not someone privately giving you that salary.
Yeah. One interesting thing was one day our AE said you go and see some cable jointing is going on. So there is a big kiosk, 132 kV jointing they made. Okay, nice. We all witnessed. We were 3 apprentices. So we all witnessed and went back to that. So in the morning around maybe 6 o'clock, we came back. There was a big blast.
Oh.
And we were locating where the blast was. So the kiosk, what we saw, big kiosk was missing. was blown up. Because the cable joint was a defective joint, I think.
Oh.
So when they charged it with 132 kV, it just blasted
Exploded.
like a bomb.
Oh.
So the whole kiosk was missing.
So that's a good experience.
So what is a kiosk basically?
It's
rail-
a rack, a big rack with where the power cables are joined.
So jointed is a big steel cabinet
Okay.
over the surface.
So while you were working at the power Ramagundam setup, you just came to take a look, and that's when this whole incident happened.
Yeah.
So why did you leave that first job then? I mean, the apprentice thing.
Pardon?
Why did you leave that apprentice?
No, apprentice was a very short time that it is only to enable us to get a job.
Okay.
So this experience we couldn't get a job, whatever is there. That is the objective of the government.
Government, okay.
But we got it for our own merit, that's a different issue. But so that's why it helps. It enables the people to get the employment.
So,
Meritorious students.
so during that, you wrote an exam for the Indian Railways.
I wrote an exam.
And what is that exam called as? Is it still going on?
Yeah, it is a railway specific exam, Railway Service Commission they call.
That is something where I see like lakhs of people try every year and they don't get a job. It's very
They
tough.
don't get a job, yeah.
Okay. And you passed that in first attempt?
Yeah. Very easily.
That was a technical job or
It's a technical job.
technical exam, not a general competitive
It is
exam.
it's not a general competitive, it is a technical exam.
Okay.
It's mostly electrical engineering. They give.
So you applied for that, you got your first job.
I got the first job. I got a lot of jobs on the All India Radio and Indian Overseas.
I didn't know all this.
Indian Overseas Commission.
I only know from NTPC you went to railways.
But I got a lot of jobs. Indian Overseas Communications at the time. I didn't like it because the posting was in Bombay. So, but basically later on I went to Bombay only. in railways.
But initially your interest was to stay close to home. So how was your...
No, that was not very, I wasn't very keen about it. But keen about a good job rather than nearer to the house.
What was a good job? Definition of a good job at that time?
Government job. Government.
Okay. Was salary...
I can't define it. Salary at the time was around 300 rupees, a good salary.
So was salary a criteria for a good job? Was it central government was a good criteria?
Central government.
State government?
Central government is a criteria. No, state government. I never used to like the state government job. So government, central government is our thing. That too, good organization like Railways, Indian Airlines, those are all the things. At the time, NTPC was not there. Later on, it came NTPC, I think.
Okay.
So that apprentice at central government created a benchmark that अब करना है तो मुझे central में ही जाना है, state में जाना ही नहीं है. That level is set now.
That's very, you're perfectly right. Level is set. So I got a state government job. They gave state government used to give jobs without even applying. From the merit list they'll pick it up, and then they send the offers. Many people they don't. Majority people normally do not join. At the time. All third-rated guys at the time. Now it's a good competition.
Now there's competition. There's very limited places and lot of population. So how was your first experience at Indian Railways? Like when you went there, what was your age roughly?
19 years, 19 and a half.
You got your first job in 19 age?
Yeah, 19 and a half or so.
Okay.
And it's a very tough experience because first the railway system is so complicated there. 800 trains run per day. So every 3 minutes
a train is coming.
So how they attend and all these things, the breakdowns, how they attend, night maintenance and all these things. It's a good...
So what was your role in Bombay?
Role is training, mostly to land.
Okay.
The landing process. So only observation. We will go along with somebody and some technician or some night breakdown or something like that. We observe it.
Okay.
So we generally, we all civilians generally when we go in a train and if it stops for a minute and they say there's some breakdown, we just say, "Abey, फिर problem आ गया." But how is the reality? Is it very tough to manage all these things?
Not very tough actually. Good maintenance practices will help.
Preventive maintenance is the key.
Preventive maintenance actually.
What is preventive maintenance?
Preventive means to ensure that a breakdown doesn't occur.
Okay.
To do, suppose something has to be, a nut has to be replaced in time. Replace it in time so that it doesn't break down.
But what about the small incidents which happen, like some animal coming in the front,
so those
the engine getting damaged?
Those are beyond the control of human control. So that's not in the hands of railways.
Of course.
So many things do happen. I used to go on, we used to call footplate. Footplate means going on the engine.
Okay.
So going on the engine and sometimes some animal comes, we feel very nervous because the animal is going to die. And the loco pilot, they hectically make the horn to see some. If it escapes, it's a good sigh of relief. Otherwise, we feel bad.
But maybe there's some physics and some logic that they can't stop the train for every single animal.
No, it's not that. It's called the braking distance. The train is so heavy. Actually, hauling is not a big issue. Braking is a big issue. So, for a goods train going at 60 kmph, it needs 1 kilometer to stop.
Okay.
So, that's why braking is a very, very...
so basically that big mass of train moving at certain speed, it takes at least 1 kilometer space to slow down.
Yeah. And if you try to do emergency braking, there's a chance of derailment.
There is a chance of derailment in case of an emergency. So it has to be applied very, very judiciously. Emergency brake. So for each and everything, you can't make an emergency brake.
Is this why we have this fine in the train saying that if you pull the emergency
chain,
you'll be jailed also, is what is being told. I don't know if they really jail.
That's the chain. It is not emergency brake, it's a brake.
Oh, it's a normal brake only. It's not like emergency brake.
It tells the driver that someone has pressed it, or how does it work?
One is gives an indication to the driver also, and simultaneously it leaks some air into the system, braking system.
So it slows down, starts slowing down.
The brakes will start applying.
So it's... how braking works is also interesting, right? It's some vacuum braking or something.
There are two types of braking. One is a vacuum braking system, which is outdated now. And they release the air slowly. So that the piston comes down, so it activates the brake. If they don't do it properly, and if they abruptly destroy the vacuum, sometimes
it explodes. So.
It will not be able to stop it. So slowly they have to brake. Release, again, press, release. So, slowly vacuum.
And those are the pipes we see joined between two compartments. You see in the middle...
You see two pipes.
Two pipes are joined, that is for vacuum propagation.
And now, it is pressurized braking with air pressure. 5 kg of air pressure will be there. So it gushes into this air pressure.
Okay.
So by air pressure it breaks. This is more reliable braking and fast this thing also.
So my knowledge of trains is only from the movie called The Burning Train.
What is
So I think it was when you were young, and I think those days the movie would have come. How was your thought? What were your thoughts when you saw the movie? Did you feel a lot of technical mistakes saying, hey, so this is all fake, this is all stupid?
It's a movie. It's a movie basically.
So you couldn't...
But we saw the real accidents. Sometimes we become totally nervous. See, when I was so young, maybe 20, 21 years, there was a big accident in Bombay at a station called Matunga.
Okay.
Next to Dadar, two suburban trains came and collided.
Oh,
It is a human
head-on.
Head-on collision. And I think around 130 people died.
Oh.
It was very bad, this thing. So we feel very nervous after seeing that, so many dead bodies. So it's a very bad scene. So I never thought 60 years back that I will become a train accident investigator. Later on, at the end of almost 2002 to 4,
When you were working with a private
Commissioner of
company.
Railway Safety. So where I used to investigate these accidents.
So this is something which I generally have as a thought whenever people say, whenever there's an accident or an incident, people say, police क्या कर रही है, government क्या कर रहा है, ये क्या कर रहे हैं. I feel they are also humans. They also never experienced that. Something happening suddenly, they also need to first absorb the shock. When a suddenly accident happens, they are not robots that, oh, let's quickly move the bodies. They're also in a shock. What happened? They take some time to react. But people would just say that, why isn't police instantly responding? So it's, easy to blame. But since you are saying, like, you had seen that incident, it was a shock, right? I mean, when you see that, we can't instantly start running towards it and take action. You first understand that, absorb the whole shock first and then react to it. So this was during your...
Sometimes it will be beyond the human control. There was an accident somewhere in 85 or 86 near Mancherial, with the Southern Express was going, and one they call water tank. Actually, it is a pond.
Okay.
It got breached, so the whole water gushed. So wave and then.
Exactly at that time, the train was passing.
The train was passing that area.
When the
So
water
over the
flooded.
bridge, the water came in?
And
Was it over the bridge or was it?
Not a bridge. It just went
There was
back.
a-
Going. And the water force was so much that both the links got snapped.
Okay.
And then one bogie rolled almost about 50 to 60 meters, and all the people died. Around 52 people died in that accident. And I was straight away at that spot. So it was a very tough thing to see the people moving.
It's a very tough situation to go through.
Yeah.
So it's not a human error, you mean to say? Like
It's
it
not
was
human error.
heavy rains and everything.
There was rain and all these things, and it could not withstand that water pressure, I think. So it breached. So it gave away. So a huge amount of water. The water force was so much. Only 5 minutes the water flow. And then...
And in that 5 minutes, the train was passing.
So it's all the...
Both these sides,
Just
the links,
luck.
you can
Bad luck.
imagine the connection between the bogie to bogie, how strong it is. So it snapped that.
Wow.
And then it rolled off some 50 people in the... So sometimes they are beyond the act, you can call it act of God or whatever it is there.
Yeah. So during your initial job at railways, you were working as a technical...
I'm a signal, basically, signal maintenance. I was through and through in the signal maintenance.
So what is signal maintenance?
Signaling system is the one which ensures the safety of the train running.
Okay.
It ensures the route because the driver has no steering. So the route has to be set. The signaling system ensures on what line he has to go, at what speed he has to go. The indications what you get in signal, the red, yellow, green, sometimes double yellow. These are the things which gives an idea to the driver how with what speed can he go. If it is green, he knows that he can run at full speed. If it is yellow, he has to get prepared to stop at the next signal. And the double yellow means, next signal is also clear for you. Get prepared to stop the next.
Okay.
So like this, the driver gets guided. So
Is this the same thing where they show a piece of cloth at the train station? I mean, they used to show.
what now?
In 60s, maybe there was a station master would wave a green.
Green,
Cloth.
that is the station master showing the green flag is another type of hand signal.
Hand signal.
You can find a semaphore signal, even like this one wooden signal.
It'll fall down to show green and then it'll rise up.
Yeah.
But I think the signaling system you're talking about is signaling logic that ensures
Yeah, signaling
trains
logic that
run
ensures the
safe.
safe running of the train. It ensures no collisions
Okay.
and no conflicting moves. Some train will not come and then cross it.
So when you were working there, was it for a group of stations nearby? Like it was a central, like we have South Central Railway. Like
Yeah.
you were part of which setup? Like
Initially, I started in Bombay. That was in Central Railway. Anywhere we can be transferred in Central Railway. Later on, I come to South Central Railway.
okay. So was it that in Secunderabad?
Yeah, Secunderabad. I was
Okay.
mostly in Secunderabad. I was in Guntagal.
So how many trains were passing every day when you were at Secunderabad station?
Secunderabad is a very busy station. There were around 120 trains pass in Secunderabad.
Every day?
Peak hours, except 60 trains will go in the evening slot.
Wow.
Evening 4 o'clock to night 9 o'clock. Lot of trains.
So I presume a problem comes when one train is delayed and then there's another train behind it.
Yeah, there is a cascading effect. It will be there.
Huh.
So if one train means it kicks up a row of
And then you have to prioritize express trains versus
which
goods
train
trains.
has to go first.
Yeah.
So if the passenger train, take a.
So is it like a game of chess where you strategize like, okay, this is important. There's a minister going in this train. This has to be given priority.
Yeah, priority naturally.
So there is an image, I think, of a route panel that probably gives an idea on which train is passing
Which train
in
is
the
passing
yard.
where and all. The entire route is sensed by small electrical circuits called track circuit.
Okay.
So we know where the train is.
Ah.
The controller or the panel operator, he knows the whole thing of it.
So I have seen, again, my knowledge is only from Burning Train movie. They had a whole wall of station names and the train beeping like ting ting. Train यहाँ पहुँच गई है. अब इसको कैसे रोकेंगे? So is it something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
But for every different train, there's a different.
Yeah. I'll show you one picture later. I think when I have the picture, we'll show.
I'll just showcase it maybe. I think you're referring about this.
Yeah, and he's my grandson.
Oh, is it? He's your grandson. So all these lights which are seen here,
There's a train.
these are trains.
There's a train movement.
Okay.
The train is going like that.
Acha. So these are on this single route. I can see almost like 50 trains right now.
No, each line is
One after one.
Okay.
One train comes and goes, other train comes, crisscross movements.
So these days we call it as AI, artificial intelligence. Those days it was all human intelligence.
Yeah.
Humans used to work collaboratively.
humans, and there was also signaling circuits that ensured the
Logical
safety.
circuit. There are analog circuits. And in fact, I used to design the analog circuits.
Okay.
So do very complicated signaling systems. So those analog circuits, the same logic, they got transformed into solid state interlocking.
Okay.
Solid state.
But since I have no knowledge about what you're talking about, is it something like, okay, a train is in station 1 and another train is at station 2, you get an alert and depending on that you just make the plans like, acha, this train is late, let's adjust the other train on the first track, because we need to keep tracks available for everyone.
Okay, right. Something like that. Okay.
Something similar.
Something like that. What you said is okay. The trains move in between the stations on a system called a space block. Means this particular 8 kilometers should be clear.
Okay.
Once it is clear, next train will enter. So the station premises a different logic, and in between the stations the different logic. That comes under space block system.
So if between two stations, if there is a route of 50 kilometers,
Ah.
every 8 kilometers, one
There
train
will
should
one
be.
station. Normally a station will be there.
Huh.
Okay. So once the train clears that station, another train can enter. Other two trains cannot enter.
Okay.
Unless manually, deliberately done for the purpose of some
But
specific.
we are talking about small stations. If it is like Secunderabad big junction, then everyone enters.
Junction has many
Junction has many
lines.
things, and just with the 2 push buttons, the route will get automatically set, train can go. And once the train goes, the route, it will get locked.
Okay.
Nobody can disturb that.
Which means level crossings, for example, also get locked. No one can open level crossings.
Till the train movement is completed, everything will get locked.
Okay.
And once the train gets this through, it will automatically get released and get ready for the next train.
So you just mentioned about press 2 buttons and the train changes the track.
Yeah.
My knowledge was only that people would manually do it like this and
point
their
machine.
legs would get stuck there. I've seen movies again, Hollywood movies, similar things.
That was there when I joined the railways. So it got slowly
Upgraded.
Yes. The cabin days to pull the lever and all these things. Yes, it used to be there.
It used to be there,
Yeah.
right? And now it is on a...
No, now everything is there.
Now it is a motorized point machine, I
Motorized
think,
point.
which
And,
operates the
just
rail.
2 buttons will decide the route.
Okay.
And they will take care of the entire safety. So safety circuits there also.
So the point is, I think safety is not in the hands of the people operating, but safety is in the logic itself.
The logical circuits, the safety is inbuilt. But with all these things, the human errors will always be there. The driver, I make a signal excellent with all safety things, but if the driver mistakes green for red for green and goes, nothing can be saved.
I hope people like me don't work because I'm colorblind. For me, red and green looks similar.
Yeah, they colorblind us. They check it, in fact, for the drivers.
Do they really check it?
Yeah, they check it. The drivers are not only that. The drivers are supposed to have one more specs by the side of him.
Okay.
In his box he'll have. Suppose it falls down or cracks, immediately he will take the next.
And drivers are probably very highly paid.
Yeah, highly paid. And their vision test is called A plus test, A1 test. Very short test.
Okay.
And every 1 year they have to undergo the medical test, especially for vision.
Especially for vision.
Vision, yes.
And I also remember most of the drivers were Anglo-Indians.
Why is that?
Jamana, they were all Anglo-Indians. Whole Metagoda, you will find most of them Anglo-Indian boys and all these things.
Why is that?
Huh?
Any specific reason? Why is that?
Nothing.
I think, was it like the British time?
British time, they were born, mostly they are Anglo-Indians. They were born, so they naturally kids, they have to give the jobs. So most of the drivers, jobs used to go to them because the drivers are highly paid.
Okay. So when you say highly paid, how much was the difference between a regular station master versus a driver or anyone?
Double the salary,
Okay.
you got double the more even more also driver.
Does a train driver also have a conductor like a person next to him?
No, he's called the assistant loco pilot.
Assistant
The
loco pilot.
Assistant loco pilot.
So he does have an assistant who has complete knowledge.
Yeah. Because he has to look forward the signals. He has to call out green signal, no red, please stop it. He will also see, but added to that, he will also caution him.
Okay. So 2 people team.
2 people. Suppose he takes a nap by mistake. Immediately he shouts at him. So that's why 2 people are a must in a loco cabin.
Okay.
So it's very interesting, and the loco, now electric locos are there. So there also 2 people will be there, except suburban trains.
When you started, were there steam engines? When you started your career?
Yeah. I rode on the steam engines. Very, very exciting.
Because of the sound when it pulls out the pressure.
And pat, will go. And by the time we come, all our shirts will be black.
It's very, very hot also,
It's
right?
hot. It's hot.
It's black because of the coal which is put in and the smoke around it.
The coal put smoke around. And the whole cabin is black only, full of this thing only. So we are supposed to do some inspections from the locomotive. How the signals look like, how the track is there, any track defect, any signal defect, is the signal visible properly to the driver. From the distance is expected to see it. The driver has to see at least 1 kilometer this thing. So if there is not visible, then what? Some improvement we have to do.
So these are all the things that happen in the back end to prevent train accidents.
But talking about prevention, you mentioned about signal. That is one thing. You mentioned about taking care of preventive part of making sure nut bolts are tight. Recently, I was watching a video where they showcase a small gadget which has a laser sensor. It costs like 15 lakh rupees, and they use it to check out the wheels quality. If it has a crack or something, they'll change it. So what about those days?
Those days, no, physical examination only. Now we are getting a lot of ultrasonic devices. So even the track also, there may be some micro cracks. So they run the ultrasonic device. So it will find out if there are micro cracks and they'll mark it there and then come back.
So it is manually operated by a person walking on the track.
Yeah, they physically they run it. They walk like a trolley.
So you are referring to the track. I am referring to the wheel. Because
wheels also the same thing.
wheel is something like a car tire. If
Wheel
it snaps or if it breaks, I'm
Yeah,
sure it creates a cascading issue on all the tires
In
also.
fact, axles also, I think there is thermal cameras to check if the axles get heated, if the bearings need to be replaced.
Sometimes they get hot when the bearings are worn out, are eccentric. So they get hot. So thermal cameras are there, they capture it. That's it. We call hot axle.
Hot axle.
So hot box they call.
Okay.
So hot box is that they want, the next station they stop it in case. But more nowadays they are very reduced because high quality bearings.
So like in the airlines we have a black box.
Yeah.
Does train have something like that?
Yeah. Now we have in the locomotives. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. We have the black box actually. It's called a data logger or something like that.
Okay.
So it records how the driver at what speed is going at what district.
So whatever the driver and assistant is speaking and
No, it will not capture the conversation mostly.
Okay.
But it captures
the actions what he has done.
So at what speed he is going, at what speed he is supposed to go. So where did he stop it?
Okay.
Everything you can
Does
capture.
it also have some GPS to track where, at what point, what operation was, what speed the train was going? Or does it only, does it have a context of location?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called context location, yeah.
How does it know the location?
Even in the olden days it used to have, because there's speedometer, they're called odometers. So time versus distance.
Oh, okay. So by integrating, you will know. If you know speed and time, you know exactly where the train was.
So
you don't need a GPS.
There's a stylus, and then it makes a graph. In olden days. So still the graph was there, but not on the steam engines. But as the diesel engines came, this sort of.
It reminds me of our max questions. If two trains are going at speed of this, where will it stop and which train reaches faster? So it's the same
Very
concept. Similar thing. So how long were you at railways? Like, was it like
35 years.
Oh, your complete career was in railways?
Yes, complete career was in the railways.
Always the central government?
Yes. And most of the time, I was almost all on the front side of operational side of this thing. So could be in designs for a short time. I was in fact good in designs, but still they used to prefer me to keep in the operational side.
How many people did you manage? What was the
on the division,
size
we had
of?
around 1,200 people
Wow.
and 1,500 kilometers.
The
It's a
route
very
map
challenging
which...
job at any time. In fact, my wife knows, we used to keep one briefcase ready in the house. They would have a round-the-clock control office. So any emergency, they immediately give a call to house, and we are supposed to be there within 30 minutes daytime and 45 minutes at night time. Wow. We are supposed to be at the emergency train. So my box will be ready in the one suitcase briefcase. So somebody will pick it up and bring it finished.
So how do they communicate to you? Like,
we have phones in the house.
So railways has a independent.
We have walkie-talkie sets. We have phones.
And all officers have phones, railway phones. Independent network than PNT.
We have our own railway system.
And what time are we talking about? Like before?
80s.
No, even before also. Even
80s, I think.
Even
80s,
before?
Earlier also we used to have the phones. Yes.
So I think before I was born, I don't think people, I'm talking about 80s. People didn't have regular landlines. Not everyone had landlines.
Yeah,
but I remember in Hyderabad, there's something called as rail wire, broadband internet connection, which was, everyone tells me it's the best because they run on a private channel. So is it something like you had?
We have telephone exchanges of our own.
Okay.
We have a telecom system right from the beginning. Railways had their own independent telecom system because train controlling is more important. There's all verbally only control. So we used to have a good telephone system.
So that's one of the best reasons to join railways those days.
So it was all free to call from railway phone to another railway phone. We could call from different cities also at a time when...
We have 10 systems anywhere.
You had to use... I'm talking about a time when you have to make a trunk call, so you have to call the operator and say, I want to make a call to
Yes.
Vijayawada or something, and
we
you
used
have
to
to
go
wait.
we used to go to Abbott's GPO in Hyderabad, and we used to call and say that we need to call someone in Delhi. They would connect to someone in Delhi. And
So at that time, railways, in the railway network, you could call from one city to
So my
another.
children go to some railway officer's house somewhere in Bangalore.
Yeah.
And,
When we were
call-
studying
call
in
us.
Bangalore, we would go to someone's house and from there call Hyderabad
oh, that's a
for
nice
free.
free. So that's interesting. So you need to have relatives also in railways to connect everyone.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting perk, I would say. So 35 years. Was the life always like a straight line? It was fun, or did you also think that I should quit? I'm getting a lot of stress, or I'm not interested in this job. Were there moments like that?
The question of not interested in the job doesn't, because I have a passion towards railways. Okay. And it's a serious job, no fun. Round the clock, the trains go, and a lot of stress will be there. But with all that, we used to enjoy the stress, maybe the professional satisfaction or whatever it is. So we should derive a lot of satisfaction, professional satisfaction of running there so many trains per day. So we should enjoy the job. You can call it enjoyment, whatever it is, but not okay. So round the clock we used to have stress. Night calls, we can't say I'm sleeping. No good, I'm sleeping round the clock. Some train got detained at somewhere at the Kagas Nagar. So we have to just go and find out what is happening and guide somebody. They want some input.
But because of your stress, wouldn't that also fall on your family, like wife? Everyone is stressed. Like, my husband is always worried. He's always in stress. Didn't that give you a reason to come out of it?
No. The thing is, all are in railway quarters. Everybody in the same level. so they can't come. It looks strange. What is this lady complaining about?
So everyone nearby is also, everyone's husband is also in the same.
Just like army, that fellow also goes to war, this fellow also goes to war. So it hardly matters.
It hardly matters.
But when accidents happen, we are under tremendous stress. Tremendous stress. So we don't even have a cup of coffee, we stand there at the site. And enormous, you can find in railways, the tremendous coordination, especially at the time of accidents. They work like one. It's an excellent culture in the railways.
And it is not like a small car accident where you can just pull up the car, 5 people go, push the car, turn it around. This is a big piece of junk, like metal, which can't be moved easily. There are humans below that. There are people we have to answer. There are also seniors who will also question how did this happen. So professional stress is also there. There's also emotional stress going on, like how did this happen. So I'm sure it's a whole stressful time. And
how many accidents have you probably seen over your career?
Never counted it.
Numerous, but some of the worst accidents could be, the worst accident is that Ramagundam, Mancherial, where 50 people died. Otherwise, most of them, there will be no casualties. The railway system is now robust. Accidents may happen, many accidents do happen, but there will be no casualties. There will be no deaths. No. So, because of the coach design, the track design, the wheels, whatever is the loco design, so there all includes as safety systems. So, normally, human loss will be very less unless the most unfortunate Odisha accident recently.
So what is the reason for most of these accidents typically? Is it system error or track fault or human error?
Human errors are more. Very difficult to eliminate the human errors. But the best effort is made. With all that, it can happen.
So it comes down to how robust process you can have in place to prevent human errors.
It is there now, Kavach. What is called Kavach is automatic braking system. Kavach is there.
But even after Kavach, I think...
there are limitations for it also.
I mean, I think I can connect with what Venu just said. It's also the processes are not so strict. When I compare it with the airline industry is very strict, like when they go with the rules and everything. Again, that's a presumption we see. We presume, thinking that there are less accidents in the airline industry versus the trains. Maybe they need to be more strict on hiring processes of the locomotive drivers.
But I think for the people it transports, what is the comparison? Railway safety
design
versus...
systems are concerned, mostly airlines and the railways, they are zero tolerance. system designs.
Hmm.
So system designs, there is no tolerances anywhere. There also we also do not have. Like that, shutdowns, safe shutdowns. It's called a safe shutdown. So both are same more or less. So as far as the technology is concerned, both are at the same
Both are at
level.
par.
And in fact, the organizational culture, if you look at the railways, have a very good organizational culture. You will never find a driver coming late and a train going late. You would have never heard in your lifetime. Nor did I hear. No.
Oh yes, we hear pilots coming late. We hear airline pilots coming late and flight is delayed.
I didn't speak about it. But
No, I can say that because I am.
But it's
air hostess
very
coming late could be there, but railways can have, because there is always a backup. And they monitor the driver till he comes and reports to the driver's crew room. So that from the time he, suppose he is scheduled to come at evening 18 hours. At 15 hours the alert goes to him. So he starts and he has to report half an hour before. Suppose he misses by some chance, he meets a road accident and the driver will be ready.
And
So he takes the
there's a
train
backup always ready. So during your whole tenure, I'm not sure if Lalu Prasad Yadav was also the minister, and did that change anything of your work life, like the whole, or does railways operate in their own way, like whoever is the minister will work as usual? No big policy changes,
Nothing.
nothing affected, because right now we are seeing a lot of positivity from the current minister, I think Mr.
Vaishnav.
Ashwini
Excellent.
Vaishnav. He is excellent, right? I mean,
One
we
of the
keep.
best railway ministers perhaps the Indian railways have ever witnessed.
Why do you say so? Like, what did you see really gradually changing? Is it because of the new introduction of new trains, new berths, everything?
One is a technical.
So he understands what he's saying.
He handled even GE locos.
Okay.
And he knows the advanced signaling systems has been trained. Leave alone these things. He's A.S.N. leave alone all these things. Above all, he's a very mature person and an excellent way of dealing with the people. So, very sophisticated way of dealing.
So before we move in your career path, I would also try to understand from your point of view, though you're out of the whole railway industry, do you think that you missed seeing bullet train during your life tenure, like work tenure?
Yeah.
Because I feel that that's one big change which is coming in India.
Yeah.
And what do you think? What are your thoughts about bullet train?
Good to have it, but the only thing is to look at the economics of it. That's all. In fact, out of the many railways in the world, Indian Railways financially is one healthy railway.
Yes.
Maybe if I'm right, some 13 to 14 railways only in the world are financially healthy.
Right.
And Indian Railways is one, Japanese Railways are one.
In India, in all the government side businesses, Indian Railways is one of the most profitable when compared with the BSNL and VSNL, which are the most loss-making companies. So that way, railways.
And Indian Railways is also one of the biggest employers. I don't know in India or the world. I'm not sure
And
which.
India is one which can manufacture the locomotives. There are very few countries which manufacture locomotives. So India is one, and it's a very competitive price. It can supply to many other countries at a very competitive price.
I think now India has stopped importing anything, and now we are manufacturing our own Vande Bharat.
Yes. We have enough technology.
Just this week, they introduced the new budget variant trains, which are more sophisticated yet available at economical prices. So that is also coming up. I think that's part of the new ministry's initiative.
And train travel is the cheapest in India. In the entire world, if you look at, if you say go to the USA or somewhere, maybe equivalent to the flight. Here it is.
Definitely. I have been in Europe. I have seen there was no price difference between a flight and a train, and we would say train lena hi kyun hai? Let's go in a flight. We'll save time at least. But in India, it's a huge difference. So that way, definitely, I agree to that. So I was asking about bullet train. So I just saw recently they were test done by Vande Bharat, achieving 190 to 200 kilometers with a glass of water kept in that. That's how we all compare with the Chinese bullet trains. We always keep a glass of water and say that it's not shaking. And finally, Vande Bharat did that amazingly.
Yeah.
So is it because of a good train, or is it also because of good tracks and the whole reliable tracking system?
Basically, the track has to be paka.
The track, right?
The track has to be, that is number one. Number two is the train. Both. It's
Both.
interlinked. Both.
Yeah, definitely.
The train set, okay, and the track. That has
The
one
track has to support the speed
track has to
the
support
train needs to run.
And the speed can be even further increased if it is a fenced railway. If the railway is fenced on either side, yes, it can be. Yeah.
I think that's the best way to increase the speed. Completely fence it, or do an underground. Underground is very costly, but generally speaking,
Fencing. I think challenge is fencing in general, or the risk of.
So 35 years at railways, and you had a, what do you call that? VRS?
VRS, voluntary
Retirement.
Yeah.
So-
Retirement.
So you finally had to leave that job.
No, it's not that. I had to leave because of for a different situation that I was due for a promotion and I could be posted elsewhere in some other railways. When both my boys are coming back to the India, I do not want to go to farthest place and then work there. So, and I had a lot of offers outside.
So both of your sons were outside India when you were around your retirement? Oh, is it? That's an interesting fun fact.
So when they were coming, declared that my second son, when he was coming to declare that he has come to the India and I don't want to go out from there. And I had offers on British Railways at the time. So I don't want to go there.
A lot of people who worked in railways I've seen working in other countries, etc. Why is it? Or
in fact, the railway engineering has come from the British to India.
Yes.
But the experts are more grown in India. So British Railways are, there are a lot of in the companies, a lot of Indians are there. Indian engineers, not only there, in many of the African countries and all this. Indian engineers are very popular in railway systems.
Because we have a very high scale and so we build up a lot of expertise in the Indian system.
Yes, it is.
We do a lot of jugaad. We can quickly solve problems. I mean, that's what I know about Indian thought process. Like, we can take a lot of stress. Not many people can do that. So, which is also.
But I think the technical experience is also very high here.
Yes, Indian very high quality of technical experience. In fact, I must have missed a bullet train, but I did not miss the metros. After having done in the corporate, we were maintaining Delhi Metro, part of the Delhi Metro and the Chennai Metro.
Okay.
So my company was doing it.
So I'll go to the company. So in which year did you take the retirement?
2004.
2004. Okay. So exactly 20 years back.
Yeah.
So I would like to now know about your life journey post-retirement. So why did you again get into retirement railways job again?
After retiring from railways, why did you go to private railways?
One is there is a tremendous shortage of railway engineers outside in the corporate sector.
Okay.
So there were many offers. So they will hijack you physically. Some of the companies are ready to hijack.
But in those days, I don't think there was work from home. So you had to again go out?
There is no work from home concept. Physically, I used to go to office every day.
Which place was
even now, there is no concept of work from home. The driver cannot work from home. The local pilot cannot work from home. The cleaner cannot work from.
No, we have 5G, right? We should have train pilot in the working from home only.
So the station master cannot work from home. The work from home concept is only white collar job,
IT jobs and
nightly sitting in air conditioned rooms and all these things, but not for the railway guys. Railway guys have to walk on the track. If I have to inspect the track, I have to go on the track only. I can't inspect it from this thing.
No, in the future we might have robots which would be walking on the track and.
Yeah, we have. In fact, I was trying to design something after railways to help my son, whether we can have a track inspection robot or
remotely done.
But okay, that's all okay. But physically, there's nothing that physically.
It's not also as economical as we say, like doing it with machines, it will cost way high.
But
still a human is needed.
You feel, when I go by train, I feel how the track is behaving, how the train wheels are behaving, how the carriage is behaving. I can understand. So there's nothing more than that. Just like old doctors used to see your pulse. So the pulse is, if you travel by a train, I know there's some jerk. So there is a jerk. That means track alignment.
So but
your robot, by the time you get a report and process, all is okay, fine. That's all technically sophisticated. But for a quick action, so the moment I find a jerk, immediately I will talk to the controller, say there is a jerk at this so-and-so place. And he will communicate to the engineer, and then somebody will go.
So basically,
Swift
that's the reason online doctor doesn't work. You have to go to a doctor, he will take a look and then give the solution. So, after your retirement, you took a private job in a private company. What was the company name?
The first company I joined was A.S.N Rail.
A.S.N Rail.
A.S.N, I was the CEO of the A.S.N Rail.
Oh, wow.
So it was in the building of the railway infrastructure.
Okay.
And mostly for the private railways. Normally people think railways means only our railway.
What
There
is
are
private railways?
all the seaports,
Okay.
steel plants, they have their own railway system. For example, Tata has 55 locomotives and 350 kilometers of track.
50 locomotives means 50 trains.
50 engines.
Engines.
50 engines. So 50 locomotives, it could be any number of bogies in that.
Yeah.
That for internal movements.
Okay.
Internal movements. Simply, for example, in Ballari, JSW Steel is there.
Yes.
They have around about 55 locomotives, 450 kilometers of track inside this thing. So all this maintenance is done by the private companies.
Oh, so Indian Railways doesn't even
And
take...
they don't do it. They charge very high.
Oh, Indian Railways charges...
They do it, but they charge very high. Because they don't.
Private is cheaper.
So
Wow.
they don't prefer, and they will also ask you do yourself because their main
They have their own headaches.
their core is main line, not
Yeah.
these sidings, high speed maintenance, safety. So Visakhapatnam port.
Okay.
The port has almost all 55 locos, 52 locos, and it has a big yard. So like that throughout India, all ports.
So to put it in simple context, when we import something from China, it comes on a ship to the Vizag port. From the Vizag port, it's offloaded to a locomotive, which is a bogie train. And from there, it goes to the respective destinations.
That is one aspect.
So this is all done privately. It's not Indian Railways doing
Not
it.
Indian Railways.
Okay.
They'll go and hand over to Indian Railways.
And coal, I assume
Similar
also.
Coal base. The coal is collected. The coal is mined, loaded, collected, and handed over to Indian Railways at some point. So all this in coal corridor is done by private.
So what all things, all these things which you are sharing are behind the scenes, which is happening in the railways, and the whole department works so hard behind it. But now we see that railways has also become very proactive. I recently saw the very international level Cherlapalli railway station.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I mean, am I looking at an airport or a railway station?
Yeah, it is more than airport.
And that too at a station which doesn't even look like a important location. I don't think Cherlapalli is such an important location except for the jail which is in Cherlapalli. But things how the whole railways is transforming is fabulous. Like I think all the stations would be changing in that way, right?
Yeah. The Cherlapalli assumes importance mainly in these terminal stations like capital Andhra Pradesh, the capital of this thing. So all the trains cannot be dealt at one station. So there will be satellite station where trains can be cleaned, maintained and all this thing. So we need a lot of satellite centers.
So basically passengers will be offloaded in Secunderabad, then the train moves to Cherlapalli and managed there.
Maybe terminated at Cherlapalli. They will develop infrastructure facilities, they will connect to buses and all this.
Yep, I read that. That's what I was telling Venu the other day. They have already started stopping the train stop. Few trains have stopped stopping at Secunderabad and actually moving to Cherlapalli itself because they want to move people to Cherlapalli itself. So how many private companies are there? Like there are many companies?
There are not many. Some of the companies, Indian Railways themselves do manage also. They have two big companies. One is for consultancy. It is called RITES, RITES. Rail India Technical Consultant Services.
Okay.
And one more is called A.S.N, Indian Railway Construction Company. All big projects, multi-crore projects. For example, Jammu and Kashmir now commissioned new line that has been done by A.S.N. So,
right.
Some,
I've heard about IRCON. It's in the stock market, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a well
And other countries also, they probably do big projects.
They do. A.S.N does a lot of countries, the railway construction. So that is big part of it. Okay. Small, suppose the sidings have to be constructed maybe with 100 crores or 50 crores. There are not many companies, maybe in single digit or double digit, very rare, 10 or 15 will be there.
So
Very less
you
companies.
had this, we call it the train signaling expertise, right? So you had this train signaling expertise, which you took it to the private company. You said, I have this knowledge, I want to still continue working there. So how long you worked at this private company?
15 years.
How difficult was the transition from government to private?
Fortunately, I did not have much. Maybe we can say 1 year.
What
1
was
year
the learning
to get into
experience?
the seeing everything in rupees. The main thing is
Why
look at
earlier-
everything. When you speak, oh, how much money?
Oh, that way. I thought you were paid in gold coins by the Indian Railways.
So everything looking at through a glass of this thing.
Money only.
So, money. That it took almost 1 year for me to learn. When you write one English in the contract, what does that word translate to the rupees? Sometimes fully they'll write one sentence. All expenditure is borne by the contractor, something like that.
Understood.
So what is that all? All may work out to some crores of rupees. We don't know. So this is what I learned.
When it comes to legal contracts, in the last few years, I have been working in that domain for some reasons. When we lease out property also, lessor and lessee, it's just one letter.
Yeah.
By the lessor,
For the
lessor,
That's right,
for
yes.
the lessee, it looks like it's all in our favor.
English.
But we don't know one off or for means completely it's blamed on you.
Yeah.
And that might, since you are working in a big private company, it could lead to like crores of rupees.
So that is the first how to read a contract with a specs of rupees. So every word translates to some money.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
this took me for some time.
So there's no margin of error in that case.
Yeah.
So how did you grow the business when you joined Aster?
One is through the technical proficiency, you can say. People have confidence. When you go to the client and speak, I'm a railway guy with so-and-so experience, all these things, and I'm head of this thing. People get convinced, yes, he's the right guy. Go to him.
He has worked for so long, so he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, because we know better than them, and then they respect us also. It is one area where I really enjoyed it. We are respected because if you private, the equation is different. When we go as an expert company, they give a lot of respect. In fact, one day, actually I went for the purpose of leasing the locos to them. We want to there is a company at Bangalore called A.S.N. They manufacture locos. So we want to give wet leasing to them. Okay, I went there. So meanwhile, there is another some consultancy for them. They were about to procure some rail-cum road vehicles. So some 8 or 9 from Italy. Okay. Oh. So I went. Casually I said, "Murthy, how are you? ठीक है और ठीक है बहुत बढ़िया है this thing." And then I said, "Oh, लोग हम खरीद कर रहा है 8." So what for? I asked. It's a hot metal movement. So just a hot metal movement. So I asked, what is the capacity of that? It is looking like a tractor. He has gone looking like a tractor, 250 HP. How does it stop your the 3,000 tons of metal? What metal? Then we got it out. क्या साहब मुर्ती साहब क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप? Let us see. So I explained him the concept of the braking distance. So how much the weight, the speed, that it dictates at what distance, if you apply brake, at what distance does it stop. So I have shown him just on a piece of paper, if you apply the brake here, if your molten metal at 3,500 degrees, it will go and stop beyond 350 meters of what you want it to stop and go and hit somebody. So,
does it change everything? Does it change the whole thing? Because it's hot.
Engine capacity and very heavy, I think, molten
very
metal.
heavy, molten metal.
When it is molten,
Molten metal is the whole, think of the whole bogie as filled with lead or very alumina or
at a high temperature. Molten in the sense it's high
but
temperature.
very heavy weight.
Very heavy weight.
But it's the same weight as a when it is hard, right? I mean,
No.
Oh no, okay. It's the weight compared with regular passengers or coal is very different than
No,
molten.
I'm not referring to the dense part. I'm saying if someone is moving 1 ton of a metal versus 1 ton of
molten metal.
molten metal, does it make a difference? It doesn't make a difference, right?
I got your point. See, in an ordinary wagon, you can move 40 tons. Okay. But a molten metal will carry more than 1,000 tons.
Okay, because it is in a, not like thermocol, it is
Full
dense
metal.
now.
Yeah.
It's a liquid metal.
Understood.
Okay.
And do they transport molten metals in bogies?
No, molten metal within the factory they move.
Okay.
From the foundry, they bring the molten metal to the rolling mills.
Okay.
So it will be around about 2 kilometers distance.
Understood.
That. He said, our international consultants and they are born with us. Can you kindly give us a solid proof? I'll go back, I'll give you. Then I sent, we have a software system and design. So I sent him back. Then said, Sir Murthy, thank you very much. We dropped it. Okay. I said, you purchase a locomotive. Locomotive only can stop it. Because locomotive is 3000 HP. That is 250 HP. You can't stop it. It can haul. It can't stop.
It can't stop.
So,
because once there's more weight in that, it keeps moving.
The inertia is too high to stop.
so that is how we are respected when we go to the private companies.
So that's the experience which is coming up. It's not like the problem with the private companies is most of the people would have just have a bookish knowledge. While you have a 35 years, 40 years of actual experience, which now you're bringing in a private sector.
In fact, Visakhapatnam port has been handing over a part of iron ore handling system to SR.
Okay. To SR Steel.
Yes, sir. So I was one of the, not one of the, I was the only one rather who facilitated the transition from this thing. So it needs, they give a lot of weight for our experience and everything.
That's interesting.
And we successfully transferred it.
So in that company you worked for how long? The first private role job?
Well, first company I worked for 5 years.
Okay.
And they sold the company. They wanted to sell along with the CEO, but I said no.
The CEO is not for sale. So CEO moved to another company.
So and that company, there's also, I know the company. There I worked under 10 years there.
Okay. So 35 years of 35 years of government with railways, and then 15 years of private with again railways expertise. So 50 years of experience. What after that? Life after 50? Like 50 years of work life. What changed?
Great life. Afterwards, I started doing Bhagavad Gita for Banjara people. Banjara means Lambadi.
When you say I started doing Bhagavad Gita, weren't you a spiritual person before that? Were you a spiritual person all your life?
No.
Did you read Bhagavad Gita regularly in your whole life?
No.
So what changed after your 50 years of life?
Maybe something I wanted to do, the community service, because they have given the...
What was your age when you finally really retired?
75.
Okay.
75 retired.
You retired at 75?
75.
You really retired at 75?
75, I really retired at 75.
I mean, professionally retired at 75?
Professionally retired.
Now you are still busy with new activities.
I was never tempted with offers. Although there are many offers are there, I was never tempted. I wanted to do some community service.
So let's talk about the whole community service thing. As you mentioned, you have never even been actively into spirituality, never been into Bhagavad Gita reading for your own knowledge. What suddenly changed? What was that reason, or was that a friend or family which took you to some temples or places?
How did it start?
I don't think I can put it in the language. I don't have a proper
Any specific
vocabulary to put it, but some feeling of it that I must
do something.
I don't know. I really do not know. But especially to the Banjara community, it's called Lambada.
Okay.
I learned Bhagavad Gita because of them only. So I thought I must do something for them.
So what was your connect with Banjara people?
Nothing, no connection at all. Absolutely no connection.
No family connection. No one knows them.
Nothing. No family connection. Nothing. Okay. We had some 18 years back when I was in railways. A little bit of work. Somebody has done it. So, but they stopped it for.
What was the work?
It was, in fact, one by name Krishna Chauhan, one railway guy. He translated Bhagavad Gita into Gorboli. Gorboli is Banjaras language.
Okay.
He translated it in the sloka form.
Okay.
Some other he wrote it very nicely that it is amenable for a musical rendition. Our family has some music background also.
Okay. Like?
So
I
the
know
singer-
about your father now. He's a teacher. I know about
teacher,
you, your kid.
My wife's side, yes.
So your wife is a...
She's not a great singer, but she learned music.
Okay.
In fact, I learned music for 1 year, 2 years. I used to go to music college. Okay. So
During...
huh?
I mean, after your marriage?
No, before marriage. Government college, I used to go to music college. I learned violin. Okay. Some exposure I had.
Okay.
So my wife's sister, she's a good at Carnatic music.
Okay.
She became later on a composer also.
So your wife's side and everyone is a musical side?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
My wife's mother is very good actually. She's
Okay.
good in playing the harmonium and other things. She's very good. Some musical genes are there in the wife's side. And we thought, see, the main problem with the Banjara or Lambadi or Lamani, they call, they do not have script. And even if I write Bhagavad Gita in a book form, nobody will read, nobody will buy. So the best way to drive them is through audio or video. No. So we started making it as a musical rendition.
So how did you connect something that was done 18 years back to now?
It was translated there at the time, and as a trial measure, the same my wife's sister, she did music for it, for a few slokas, and they dropped it.
A long time back.
18 years back.
So so 18 years back, the person had written shlokas in their language.
Yeah.
What your wife and the family did was adding a musical version of it, like a audio visual, like a musical version.
Yeah.
And that is something you put it on YouTube.
Yeah. That is after 18 years. At the time, no. At the time, it was forgotten.
So after you got completely retired, you said like, okay, let's do something.
Yeah, we have revived the whole thing. Not revived, you can say started newly with her daughter. My wife's sister was singing earlier. She sang for few, but a lot of, it's not very... anyway, she made a good effort.
So you're referring to your wife's sister's daughter, who, if I'm not wrong, is also on a TV show.
Yeah.
Purnima.
Purnima is the one who sang the entire Bhagavad Gita. Almost she sang around about 300 slokas till now.
Wow.
And she's now quite busy with a lot of...
She was also on what TV show? What is that?
Padta
Master
Tiyaga and Indian Idol also.
She's the topper of Padta Tiyaga of 2018.
Oh, nice.
And now, right today, I think she's for a game changer opening at Anantapur or somewhere. And she's working with the Taman music director.
Nice.
So she did...
she was also an Indian Idol.
Indian Idol shows, Indian Idol she participated.
Okay.
And she got a good voice. And she has that knack of singing in Gorboli. That accent she picked up.
She picked up that accent, which connects back to those people. Yeah. When they listen, they feel that it's someone from their own community singing it. Yeah. So that was the work where you worked upon connecting all these people and
connecting all the and funding also. Basically, money also I had to, because all the instrumentalists and all this you have to pay. They're all outsiders.
Okay.
So it needs funding, a lot of funding. So each sloka almost all maybe work out to 5,000 to 6,000 rupees per sloka. It will work
per
out.
sloka?
In a session we do 10 slokas.
Okay.
10 slokas means we have to pay for the studio, we have to pay for the veena, flute, all in the Carnatic style we made it.
Oh, it was very professionally done, you mean?
Yeah, very professionally. And they're all very talented people. Very talented people.
So 300 slokas.
Yeah, we did 300.
Each of them were professionally done, and you put it out on YouTube.
YouTube, yes.
So next 300 slokas. So how many slokas are we talking about?
Totally there are 700 slokas in Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
So 300 slokas we did.
Okay.
And then 400 we have to do.
I'm not sure. Did the community the Lambada community, didn't they contribute towards this?
We did not accept any money from outside. As I did not like it personally. I prefer to fund it because we are unnecessarily accountable for many things. Some people, not Banjaras, non-Banjaras, they wanted to fund, but we discouraged them. I said, don't worry about it. Even today, I am ready to fund it. So
you're doing it from your own interest. You are putting your own
interest,
life savings into this.
yeah.
Okay.
And every day I post it to around about 12,000 people on WhatsApp. I have around about 60 groups of WhatsApp.
Wow.
Of Banjara community?
Banjara community, all Banjara community. And some people like it. So they don't dislike it. Some people like it. Some people may not.
So what do you achieve out of all of this?
Great satisfaction that we have done something to the community. And Bhagavad Gita was not into that community because lack of script.
Okay.
And whatever books, there are only two people only who wrote the books about Bhagavad Gita. One is the prose and the other is poetry, like Shloka. So this one comes cheap, free. So I post them at free of cost, so they listen at least. So
And
slowly,
you are not from the same community also.
I'm
So
not
what
from
were the challenges?
initially, yes, that was a tough thing from the other communities. They threw me out from their groups. But the top guy, I talked to him, and he has understood. Then he said nothing to him. So now I have great acceptance. I am well respected. I can go to anyone. I can speak anyone. They know, most of them, they know about me.
Have you learned the language?
Halfway, little. I can understand.
Good way.
I can't speak, but
How big is this? It's called Banjara community.
Banjara community.
How big is the
it?
Banjara community? How many people are there in the
there
community?
are around 14 crores, they say.
Wow.
No, in India. And 50% are in the southern states. Southern means mostly in Karnataka, both the Telugu speaking states and Marathi, Maharashtra. 50% are here. And Maharashtra, the Yavatmal district is a very strong district of Banjaras, where the great leaders like Vasantrao Naik, Chief Minister, comes from. He comes from the same community.
Okay.
And some, the other parts they are distributed except in Northeast.
Is the Chief Minister also from that community only?
I didn't get
Chief
Vasantrao.
Minister
Is the
of-
Chief Minister Vasantrao?
Vasantrao Naik is from the same community.
Is he from the same community? So hasn't he put any effort in doing?
Yeah, they have done a great job. Yes, they have, all of them, almost every leader perhaps who have come, they did something. Otherwise, they would not have been in this stage. So when I made the Bhagavad Gita and all these things, at least I had a full access to the community because they don't allow people outside the state.
There will always be some skepticism or, okay, what is their agenda or why are they doing this?
They suspect.
I
So
mean,
maybe
if
after
someone is politically inclined, they might suspect. But after working with you, they would have thought like, okay, he is completely free. He is not having any bad intent.
Any tax, yes. So, no hidden agenda. Actually, the spiritual leader of the Banjara is from Andhra Pradesh, from Anantapur district, Gutti. He was born there.
Okay.
Then
Sant
his Nirvana
Sevalal?
was in Poharagad in Yavatmal district of Maharashtra.
Okay.
So my book also says Sevagad to Poharagad.
When you say your book,
Yeah, the book
Can we-
which I authored.
oh, so this is the book, Sevagad to Poharagad.
So this is the journey of Sant Sevalal Maharaj.
Okay.
Okay.
So this book's book. What does this book capture?
This book is the teachings and the life history, spiritual history of their spiritual leader, Sant Sevalal Maharaj.
Okay.
He is the only one spiritual leader for them. Okay. So the trust president and others, they requested me, can you write in English? Because they have a common language to speak, Gorboli, but there is no common written language. Andhra Banjaras write in Telugu, Marathi Banjaras write in Marathi, and Kannada, they write Kannada. There is no common language for them. So they cannot, written communication is a big problem between these them.
Okay.
So,
And they're also very financially behind also. Like, I mean,
so they wanted a book in English so that all Banjaras can read throughout the world, throughout India. So this is the first book in English.
so before I talk about this first book, is this your first book?
Yeah, incidentally, you can call this is the first book for all purpose. I have also edited a small book. I co-authored a small book that is for children, which is not a very great book. Is not a,
So again, this book is also, I mean, it's a very professional looking book. This was your first book.
Yeah.
And again, this is also something out of your own money. You have put your own money into this?
No, in fact, I wanted to do with my own money till the last moment. So then the trust president, he was the former Inspector General of Police. He was so generous. He said, Murthy sir, we are doing enough to the community. We will fund it.
Okay.
So he funded it for the printing and other things.
So, okay, that is one part, which is the financial part. Writing a book itself needs a lot of talent, lot of zeal, energy in it yourself, and also, going through, connecting with different people to get the information. So how easy was it, or how hard was it for you to get
and also writing about their spiritual person when you don't know anything about.
You're not part
also
of the
must
community.
have, and you're not part of the community, must also have its own challenges.
Yeah. One is writing part of it by total dedication. Morning 4:30 I get up, take bath irrespective of the season.
Okay.
Puja, sit before the computer. No. I'll work for almost 8 to 10 hours per day. So this took almost because they wanted it in a high priority. That was their priority. So it took almost 6 to 7 months to script the book. And I sent them the draft. And they had some
Changes.
Some their own leaders they have gone through. They are very happy. In fact, there were minimal or no corrections or this thing for what I wrote. They were so nice that they kept all their archives at my disposal. If in book I want Marathi books. I know a little bit of Marathi. I can read. I can understand a little bit of Marathi because I worked there. So I wanted Marathi books of the previous old Marathi books, and they sent it to me. They took all the pains to keep their material at my disposal. No. And many archives, many documents.
So what is the kind of research you had to do to create this book?
Lot of books. That's why I made this book in a way that it can help the research scholars, those who want to do research on the life of Sevalal or on the Banjara culture. So I made cross-reference.
So we'll start with the writing a book part. If someone is inspired and wants to take inspiration from you, taking, as an artist, what they do is take inspiration from many places. So you had a lot of their information given by them, but you merged them and you put that everything on your computer. What about the graphics part? Because I see a lot of, this is not like a standard book. This is a very colorful book with a lot of amazing pictures and everything. So I would like to go to that part.
Most of the pictures are developed by AI, artificial intelligence. Few pictures.
Before I ask the next question, what is your age right now?
True age? True. 79 completed, 80 entered.
Wow. Yeah. And now you say you are using AI to write your first book.
How many images have you generated till now?
I must have generated 1,000, I can say. Because to get a right picture, I may have to generate at least 5 pictures.
Wow.
Out of the 5, 3 variants I pick up, good variants. So the best one I adopted. So more than 1,000 I must have generated it.
How do you generate a picture? I would like to understand AI from you because I don't know how to use AI. I don't know what is AI. So can you teach me, what do you mean by generation of a picture? So what you're trying to tell me is the pictures which I look in this are not real. They're all generated?
Yeah. Some are hand-drawn.
So for example,
this is generated.
This is generated.
Yeah,
is it not a real person?
Yeah.
It looks more than a real person.
Yeah.
So how did you do this?
Before that, what prompted me to look at the AI is, there are some hand-drawn pictures out there.
Yeah.
They were not to my satisfaction. The artist, I paid the artist.
Right.
In fact, I paid from my pocket. That's AI generated.
This is also AI? Okay.
Yeah.
So this will be the perfect answer. Now, what was the reason for you to go for AI and not continue with the hand-drawn picture?
Yeah. I will show you the comparison between that. I was not able to get what I wanted exactly. Sometimes I used to get frustrated. No, I should get what I wanted it. So, 1 or 2 pictures were not to my satisfaction. I asked the artist to change 2 or 3 times. He changed it. He did his best. But he has a limitation to understand what I had in my brain. Maybe he has a good skill. No, I don't underestimate his skill. But
so your expectations which are in your mind are not being taken care of.
Maybe.
And how much were you paying the artist?
2,000 rupees. I am supposed he wanted actually 3,000 rupees, but I said I'm doing Bhagavad Gita, so I said okay, I'll do for 2,000 rupees.
Per image?
Yeah, per image. 2,000 rupees.
Wow.
And I generated, imagine, after this book, I generated around about 2 to 300 acceptable images for my another book. I am writing a book for children,
Okay.
full of images, full of a
Oh, the complete image
almost
visual book.
200 images will be there. Same Sevalal life. The same book I'm
Okay.
putting in this thing.
So different age bracket can also consume the
Yeah, for
information.
school children I'm writing it. So there will be very less text will be there.
So
Only
you were
pictures.
paying 2,000 rupees per image or per photo to be done by a manual person, artist.
Yeah.
What prompted you to go for artificial intelligence?
As I told you, it is not coming to my expectation.
Right.
And the colors are not.
But for someone who has, I'll tell you, during my young age, I know people where the bank employees were hating that their banks were asking them to switch from typewriters to a computer.
Yeah.
And now you are in your 75 age when you're retired. How quickly were you able to adopt into the world of AI? People are hating, talking about AI.
In fact, I learned in railways. I used to work on computer. Who used to learn? Actually, they used to conduct some classes. Young boys used to come and teach, and we are all at 45. And young fellow of 20 years used to come and teach us. Okay. And I had one good technical assistant with me, a lady, and her name is Sampriti Lakshmi. So she works on this thing. So I used to trouble her as much as I can. I want so and so command. And she will come back throughout the night. She will work and come back, sir. There is no such command. Now I am finding all commands over a period.
Now the world has evolved. Now we have answers for everything.
So when I worked in corporate, all the PowerPoints and all these things I used to prepare. So I used to computer friendly. So I don't know my UN also. Yes, suggested me, okay, you go for A. So I started working. Sometimes I get a devil. Okay, accept a devil instead of a god. So I accept all sorts of funny pictures. Even now, when I get a funny picture, I call my granddaughter and show her. She will laugh. She will burst into laugh. What command I gave.
So it's a challenge to prompt, to get the right prompts and get the image you want. But in the end, you do end up succeeding. What is your success rate?
My success rate is very high. As high as 90%, I can say.
Wow. So when you are doing these generations, the initial times, I would like to understand, because we have so many options right now on the internet. We go to ChatGPT, then we go to Google, then we go to some Grok, and we go to all different kind of services. Now even WhatsApp has image generation, where we just go to WhatsApp and say that, hey, can you generate me a picture of a person looking at the sun, and it generates it.
Yeah.
And after looking at the picture, we say, bekar hai, अच्छा नहीं लगा, waste hai, this is useless. Didn't you give up? Or how did you change the results?
Naturally, Imagine 3, when they released the commercial version, a better version, they released it. One day in the morning as I got up, I opened it. Imagine 3, a new version has come.
Okay.
So
Previously it was Imagine 2, I think.
Imagine 2,
that
I
was
think.
probably
Imagine
not
2, I
to
think. I'm
your
not very sure.
expectation.
So then I started working on that, going on, generating pictures. So I started getting good quality of pictures. Then I said, okay, my next book of children's book will work. Because at the time I was also working on Bhagavad Gita in Banjara for children.
Okay. Like most of times when I try, it gives up in the middle and then we have to again start the process. Were you so patient that you will just keep sitting on it?
Yeah.
So typically how many hours does it take to generate one good final image?
As a retired fellow, I have a lot of time. Morning 4:30 to 12 o'clock, again 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I have enough time, enough patience. Sit there in the computer, going on till I get what I want it. So most of the times, my success rate is very high.
What about your family? What did they say that, Arey, this man has been busy for 50 years with railways and now he's always on a computer. When will
I
he
can
give
tell
us...
you what we think. We are happy that he's busy with something.
Otherwise, I may become a nuisance value. Retired fellows are always a nuisance value.
He's tolerable because he's busy.
No, that's interesting, but this is a very big, change. Like, I can say that someone using technology at this age and achieving something which is actually usable. Like, this is not something which we see
It has
normally.
to be usable and printable. So it means it has to reach some level of acceptability and needs a lot of effort. I think. I don't think it comes.
In fact, my next book, what I'm now doing it, is about Pandharpur in Maharashtra. Pandharinath, Pandharpur.
Okay.
There, one of my friends couple, they walked for 400 kilometers deliberately. They walked.
Okay.
And they did not have camera at the time. So now I'm writing their experiences and entirely 100% AI generated pictures.
So you're bringing their memories in a visual format.
Yes, visual format.
So you're speaking to them, what all they are sharing to you, you're just going to showcase that in a visual photographic memory format, which is generated by AI.
Yeah. And almost all I generated around 50 pictures already by this time. So like that I generated almost 50 to 60 acceptable till now. And they are so happy. They literally cried on phone after seeing these pictures. Said, we missed the camera, but now we are not missing anything. I recreated the entire scene of it.
Wow.
It's a God. It's not our greatness. It's a Panduranga Vittal who made me to perhaps do it. It's all nothing. Actually, I don't take credit anything of it.
So post-retirement, you have got more busy, I see.
Yeah, more busy. Really, because I used to take earlier weekend offs. Now there is no such a concept of morning. Sunday also I get up at morning 4:30, 5 o'clock. So do work for the whole
Because
day.
earlier office was shut down on weekends. Earlier your artist was not available weekends. Now your artist, your assistant is your AI, which is always available. Computer is always available. And you are working on multiple things. You have written one book. You are writing another book for the kids. You are also writing for the Pandharpur.
Panduranga, and this thing. So 2 books are now I'm writing simultaneously. Both are packed with AI pictures.
Okay.
And the children's book especially, they like the entire message I want to send only through the pictures. So 200 pictures, out of which 100 pictures I generated already.
So your own selection rate is very tough, very stringent that okay, it has to be this quality only, then only it approves.
Yeah, it should be. Otherwise it looks ugly also.
And you had diabetes at some point.
Yes, I was diabetic. I used to take insulin.
Oh.
58 units per day.
What does that count to like? What is
So
58
I have
units?
undergone a course. It's called Freedom from Diabetes. It is a Pune-based.
So how many
No,
years?
what does 58 units mean?
Huh?
What does 58 units mean? And
So I don't know what is God's grace. I don't know what is insulin. I don't know about diabetes.
That's diabetes. No, unit means I can only show
They
you
take an
this-
injection. They put it in the stomach,
Yeah. Under the skin.
under the skin.
Under the skin.
Okay.
They put it. So a fully loaded injection is almost all, you can say, 30, 35, 40 units.
Okay.
You can say. So half of the insulin. One bottle used to come for 1 week
Oh.
for me. So I joined an organization called Freedom from Diabetes from Pune.
Okay.
6 months is a course. It changed some lifestyle. I mean, our eating habits and all.
So this was during your work at railways only, or your private job?
In railways while I was in the last lap of railway service.
So
At the age of
55.
55.
Around 55, you got to know you have diabetes.
Yeah.
And it was very high. Like, what was your diabetes number? Like sugar number and levels?
It will go to 300, 360, 400.
And why did
After
you get
400 is very dangerous.
Why did you get it? Because of the stress at work?
No, stress at work could be the initial reason, but later on food habits, maybe food and medication is required. Some type of medication.
so you used to eat sweets after dinner, right? Or dinner or lunch every day.
I stopped all these things. Even at the time, of course, sweets I used to eat, but I now used to take sugar in the coffee. But sugarless coffee I used to enjoy.
So, in the age of 55, roughly, you got sugar, you were impacted with it. And then for like 15 years, you were suffering it. You also took insulin for some time. And then you, met a, what is that, foundation called as
Freedom from Diabetes.
Freedom from Diabetes.
This was at 70? When you were
Yeah.
70 years? Okay.
So what changed there? What did
No,
they
food,
do?
basically I eat very less rice and then barley I eat.
So you reduced your white rice intake
Weight,
because that
I reduced
also...
my weight by 10 kilos.
Okay.
10 kilos.
So what did you do to reduce your weight?
I used to take some juice, what they prescribe. They used to prescribe some softy juice. And of course, physical exercise, I was always good at physical exercise. I used to play earlier and I used to walk. So, physical exercise, there is no change in my lifestyle. So that saved me actually. I mean, I was always diabetes never troubled me actually.
Okay. Because you are also physically exercising, you are burning the calories.
Yeah.
So diabetes didn't affect you
Yeah.
badly compared
So,
to other people.
So I used to walk in morning and evening 2 times this thing. So earlier I used to play and all this. So it was not this thing. So it's a peaceful coexistence with the diabetes. So after that, this thing, the weight reduced and I stopped the diabetes. And milk is one enemy for the diabetes. So milk has to be controlled. So for sometimes 6 months I stopped the milk.
Sugar milk or plain milk also?
Any milk product.
Oh, why is that?
Wow.
Yeah. Milk product blocks the insulin generation.
That is their theory.
Not only that, there are books saying the
So now we
enemy
might have a
sugar.
science.
Milk is an enemy. There is a book actually.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So milk, even now also, if I feel the sugar levels are increasing, I'll stop for curd and other things. I'll just stop it for some time. Of course, I always enjoy black coffee. There's no this thing. So that's how the lifestyle got slightly recast. For me, it's not a big recast because my sugarless coffee, I'm accustomed to my physical exercise. So it's not a very big thing for me to implement, except the roti.
Barley roti.
Night time, I don't eat anything. I eat only vegetables. Only cooked vegetables I'll eat. Finish. And early.
So basically the food, the lifestyle changes have actually changed. It's not something from their side. They didn't suggest anything else.
Yeah.
They just suggested to cut down on your sugar level, sugary foods.
No, sugary food, of course. I was not taking, so I did not have it. The sweets I stopped even before also.
So it's after 6 months of this, before that you were taking 58 units of insulin.
Within 1 month, I stopped insulin.
Oh.
Less than a month, I stopped insulin, and now I'm managing without insulin. But some slight medication I take. That has to be taken.
Like a preventive something.
But they say it can be reversed. But it's a very rigorous exercise, which I don't want to spend a lot of time towards that also, because I have other things to do also. So.
Other priorities in life going on right now.
So basically you were able to get rid of insulin dependency.
Yes, insulin dependence I'm able to get it out. As healthy, fortunately, by God's grace, as healthy as I was. So I keep walking and all this thing, I keep exercise. I drive my car. So my activities have not got slowed down. My life continued the same pace.
And that's interesting. Very interesting that you were able to kind of reduce the medication around diabetes, and that's all thanks to the lifestyle changes. Like reduced, and you don't eat outside, I presume.
Not. I don't.
Not frequently.
No, I don't eat practically.
Okay.
I don't like, unless I'm compelled to do so. Not by myself, unless I'm compelled.
What are the next books that you're planning to write?
A lot of books. This particular book, I wrote it under that trust. And this book we are translating into Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, and they want it back in Telugu also.
Oh.
One of my colleagues is doing in Telugu. So once it is done Telugu, even I can also do it Telugu, but I don't want to invest my time on that Telugu version of it.
You can do AI images more.
I can generate more images.
No, he can focus on bigger things. He's writing more books.
That's very time consuming, and real patience is required.
But rewarding also, I guess.
Rewarding, equally rewarding, because my percentage of success is 90 in AI, I can say. This book, once it is written in Telugu, it is easy to translate into Kannada. So our 4 languages will release it. Maybe this year at least 2 languages will. And one I am writing, as I told you, the same thing for children. Complete packed with AI images of 200 images. It will be 200 pages book.
It will be like a comic book where they go through graphics, like.
It doesn't sound like a comic. Is a light word, but it's like this only. It's a serious images.
Okay.
Divine, this thing. So with a lot of divinity and spirituality, the image like the same images.
Since you are speaking about Bhagavad Gita, giving the music to the slokas, do you also get pulled into that spirituality part?
Yeah, to some extent, yes.
Then have you been to all the different Chardham yatras, and then I see a big disconnect there. Then what is?
I have more busy with these things, so I can. That doesn't mean the physical excursions or whatever is their physical pilgrimages, you know. Maybe sometimes if health permits, if time permits rather, because I have too many things to do and I am writing that Panduranga, this thing. Now slowly they will ask it in Hindi also. There I have already generated around about 40 to 50 images, this thing. I have written 1/3 of the book.
Okay.
Within 1 month I have written. So in the 2 more months I will complete this thing, the book. Then
So too many things to do at 80 years.
too many things to do back. So I went and sat at Puttaparthi Prashanthi Nilayam before the beginning of the year.
To disconnect from work.
To give me more strength to complete all my projects. Too many projects, you know. So once that book is done, Panduranga, that also has to be translated into Kannada and Tamil also maybe.
So at the age of 55, when you got retired, the VRS voluntarily retired from railways, didn't you feel that, okay, my life is done, now I'll just stay at home with my family, abhi to I'm going to relax, my sons are coming back from colleges, I'll be at home retired with my wife, reading newspaper whole day. Didn't you think about that kind of a life?
Some other I am averse towards laziness. That may translate to laziness, taking rest. Some other I am not for that. I keep working.
No, but that is your point of view. What about your family or your wife?
They like it because I'm not going out, I'm with them only. Okay, last 15 years. See, railways, they have one facility. I can take my wife officially with me.
Okay.
In the same class. She's entitled for travel, she's entitled for first class AC travel and guest house and all these things. So she used to, whenever, she was also working in railways. So at the weekends I used to go for inspection, I used to take her. So they don't miss much. And in the corporate also, I used to take her at my cost. So I suppose most of the times I used to go to remote places. So I used to come along with me because children have already grown up. So she'll come along with me and then we stay in this thing. So that's why they did not feel bad about me. You know. So on the contrary, I may become a nuisance value if I don't work anything. So better I should work. Even my children say, better dad should work, let him work.
Yeah.
No, because it's very rare to see someone still working at 80 and still getting more and more busier by every passing year.
In fact, if my time permits, I want to make Bhagavad Gita in Gorboli for children. I have already started. There I am not able to generate much AI images because of Bhagavan, Krishna, these things. Maybe it has some advanced features after some time. If it can remember the images, if I can nominate, suppose I generate Amish pictures and then say, remember this. Then if that feature comes, it will be helpful. Krishna will develop it and say retain.
So right now, what I have used Chat GPT, I keep using that. It has a text memory.
Yeah.
What you are asking is a visual memory, the image part.
Yeah, image memory.
It should remember what you liked earlier and now make changes around that image. So if it generates one picture of Lord Krishna, after 2 days, if you say, now I want the same Lord Krishna in a different location with Radha.
It'll generate a different image of Krishna.
Krishna
That
will
is the
change.
challenge.
Same prompt doesn't work.
But maybe that's where I would suggest maybe to try out other models which we use is Grok or Grok. There's one platform called Twitter, one social media app called Twitter. They have their own AI generation, image generation. It's super fantastic when we compare it with Google, when we compare it with even ChatGPT, and also we do with Meta AI. Yeah. So I'll share you that.
Surely, I'll work with him. I'll learn from you. I'll become a Shishya to you. I can do much better, perhaps. Bhagavad Gita, because that, as I told you, for children, I want to develop a Bhagavad Gita with AI images. Now, hand-drawn are there. Some hand-drawn are there.
Yeah.
That's why I just put off that project. Now I'm taking this thing. So
that's very interesting that it's a motivation for everyone when people say that I'm close to 50 years, I have worked my life for 30 years, now I want to retire, and you have worked additional 30 years on that and at the age of 80 you are still saying that I'm more busy now when compared to the past. So that's a motivation for the complete new generation which thinks that working from home is the way to go, staying with family is the way to go, retiring at 50 is the way to go. I don't want to work anymore. I want to waste time at home. that's also a luxury, and then they should look back and take inspiration from you. So yeah, hats off to what you have been doing. It's a pleasure to learn about your whole story and the whole life experiences. And it's also interesting that from your journey from the signal operation, the technical side of the world, to now the AI part, you are probably one of the only people in your age group who is using AI to the fullest. Unlike the younger generation, which is doing actually nothing with the AI. Everyone is just complaining that AI is going to take away our job. But why don't you take it to your benefit? Don't worry, it's going to take your job. Learn better prompting. And what better example can be when compared with you? Like, you have a very good hand over this skill of using AI. So hats off on that regards.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you and learning everything from you, sir.
Thank you, Amit. It's very nice to have a longer session and your patience. Thank you very much.
अगर आपको ये पॉडकास्ट पसंद आया है तो लाइक करना ना भूलें और टफ स्टोरी को यूट्यूब और सारे सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर फटाफट से फॉलो और सब्सक्राइब भी कर दीजिए। ऐसी इंटरेस्टिंग और इंस्पायरिंग कंटेंट के लिए मिलते हैं हम आपसे हमारे अगले एपिसोड में। तब तक के लिए गुड बाय।